have any knowledge of a claim that Magic Mike had anything to do with that record?
To my knowledge, no. I know he did the scratching on it. That
Oh, he
I
did do the
believe.
scratching.
I believe he did the scratching on it, and I believe he helped George get his skills in that speed scratching.
At that time or later?
No, I think at that time. I believe Magic Mike did it, but I could be wrong. I wasn't there, and I don't remember.
The story I heard was that the 808 beat used on that was one that Magic Mike programmed, left in the drum machine, and Clady just dumped it to the tape. Did you ever hear this rumor?
I think I heard somebody say that, but if my honest opinion, it doesn't sound anything like anything Magic Mike has ever done on his own. I mean, nothing like it. So, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, but it doesn't sound like anything that Magic Mike has ever done. I mean, because I worked with him, I did. So.
Obviously, I'm leading to that. So the song comes out and becomes somewhat of a hit, a notable record. How did you feel?
Well, I mean, I was happy for them, but I was upset that I wasn't working with them. It wasn't so much that it was a hit, as that I wasn't working with them. George was like my best friend, like forever, And I started the whole thing. I put everybody together. I made it. I came up with the name. I made the group, so.
When did you first realize that Magic Mike was offering Vicious Bass some type of deal?
He was offering it to me. Well, what happened was when everything went sour with Joey Boy for them, they came back to me, and they're like, "Look, we want to get back together. We want to work together." So I was like, "All right." And we heard he had a show at, I think it was called Futura or Spinners or something like that in Hollywood was the name of the club. So we went there to see his show, and then he pulled us aside afterwards, and then he asked us, me, Lace, Madness, and Mike Jewish, to go up to Orlando and record with them.
So I guess we should back up and say, how did Mike Jewish enter the group?
How did Mike Jewish enter the group? That's a good question. Mike Jewish, I met Mike Jewish because my mother was a waitress in a pizza place called Steve's Pizza in North Miami Beach. He was a little kid, short little kid with thick glasses, and I never really paid him much attention. But he used to come around George's house when me and him were practicing as Vicious Beat. He used to come around all the time. Believe it, we actually used to hide from him. We didn't answer the door when he would be knocking. We'd hide from the window so he couldn't see who was in there. And basically, later on down the road, one day he came over, and all of a sudden, he's a great DJ. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So we brought him in. We brought him on board.
What was the concept behind having two DJs?
I don't know. I just thought it was different. We thought it was different. I don't know anybody else that was doing that unless I don't remember anything else like that. But I thought it was a cool idea. Who else?
Shaggy.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So you went to the Magic Mike show.
Right.
And the offer was made. You decided to stick with the name Vicious Bass.
Right.
Why is that?
Oh, because it was already established from Shake That Thing.
Right, so tell us about your first trip up to Orlando.
Our first trip up to Orlando. Driving up to Orlando is when we wrote the lyrics to both tracks, Come On Rockin' Freak and It's House Show. We wrote it in the car ride as I was driving. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't driving. I think Lace was driving.
Both songs were written there, right?
Both songs.
And you had not signed a contract with Cheetah Records at that point, correct?
No, we didn't sign yet.
So when you first landed in Orlando and met up with everyone, what was your first impression?
We went to Tom Reich's office. We were pretty impressed. I think he had a modeling agency or a talent agency or something like that. It was pretty impressive. The studio was nice. I mean, as far as my impression of the people, or is that?
Well,
is that
let's actually continue on that. Tell me the contrast between what you saw at Joy Boy and what you saw at Cheetah.
Well, Joey Boy was a big. It was, well, first of all, they were a record plant. They were a bigger record company. Cheetah was just getting off the ground. Really. They were just starting, really. So it was totally different. I mean, Joey Boy's been around doing that for a lot longer than when we got into it with Magic Mike.
And now your impression of the people.
Of Magic Mike and all the people?
Sure, everyone there that was new to you, to the group.
I liked everybody there. I did have issues. I really don't know where they were stemming from, but I don't know if it was coming from Mike, if it was coming from Tom. I never really got it. It was weird situations we were always put in. Somebody would say somebody felt this way about us. They don't want to talk to us now, and it was something constantly going on. And really, I always thought it was Mike at the time because that's the way Tom made it seem. But I really don't know. I don't know if maybe Tom was just starting it, and making up these things. I have no idea. There was just so much that went on. So we had a lot of issues with them, and it made things really tough to work with them.
Were the issues before you signed or after you signed?
After.
Okay, so let's talk about your signing and starting to work.
Okay.
You had no issues with the contract at that point?
No.
1 second.
What was that last question?
Just, the work itself, because, what I want to establish, if this is still on pause, what I want to establish is you did do 2 songs.
We're recording still.
You did do 2 songs.
Yeah.
They were released on the debut Magic Mike album, which is a genre changer.
Right.
So your work contributed to that.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of want your impression of doing the work and then having the work released and seeing the impact of it.
Doing the work, well, the way that it went down, first of all, we did everything at Magic Mike's house, is where we produced everything. He had 2 turntables set up, SB 1200. I basically, because I already had an SB 1200, so I knew how to use it. So I was kind of playing around with him. He was looking for samples. I think he used, what's that song, Ring My Bell or whatever. And basically I came up with a little bass pattern, which from what I remember, this is the way I remember it, that it was the main pattern used throughout the whole entire song. Somewhere in the middle I put a snare roll. So in one of the verses we say, Madness says, Wizzy, make the beat roll, because I made the beat roll. Then we took everything to the studio. The way that they were working that album was Magic Mike was producing each song and then having everybody come in, and whoever he felt had the best rap for it is the person that did that song. That's the way I remember it. I don't think he was saying, okay, MC Boo's gonna do drop the bass. It was kind of like, you try, okay, that's the best one. That's the way we're going. I thought that was a good idea.
And that's how the Vicious Bass songs were done? They weren't done somewhat independently?
Well, It's House Shaw, I did that 100%. 100%. That was done in my house, in my house, and then I brought it up there on the disc. As a matter of fact, funny story, I actually left the disc, and as I got halfway to Orlando, I realized that I had to call my mother and have her drive and meet me in like 2 hours away to bring me my disc. I didn't want to not have that song on there. It was mine.
Was All Wild DJs part of this session?
No. Oh, that was later.